Like it or not, it is tax season again. For most of us, a pretty dreaded time of the year. But our next guests say it doesn't have to be so bad, especially with the proper planning. So great to have Jay and Brittany Hagee with Allon Planning Partners back on the show. You're going to put some positivity into this conversation, Maria?
Absolutely.
That's right. Taxes doesn't always have to be a drudgery.
Does
Okay.
not.
And the reason why is because when you do proper tax planning, you're going to save money, which means you keep more money in your pocket. If
That's
that doesn't
right.
sound like a win, I don't know what it is.
We want to try to put more money in people's pocket during tax season.
Okay, so let's rip the Band-Aid off because here we are talking in tax season. So is it too late to do anything much for this year, but it's time to think about how to plan for next year?
Well, you're either going to do tax paying or tax planning. It's going to be one of the two. And so a lot of times if you're just doing it right at April 15th or a month before, you're going to stay in a pattern of tax paying. We want to get people used to tax planning, and that could be for next year, for 5 years from now, for 10 years from now. What are your allocation strategies set up? Do you have the appropriate buckets set up to help you save in tax dollars for retirement accounts and things like this? So you want to make sure that you are thinking ahead. We absolutely do have strategies that if you're just thinking about it this year, we can try to implement for you. But at the same time, tax planning is what's more
And
important.
that's
So it's years
what
to come.
true tax planning is looking at the full financial picture, not just looking at, okay, what do I have to pay for this current year, but how do my investments impact my tax liability, not just now, but 5 years, 10 years, 15 years from now, when I go to take RMDs when I'm 73, how are my current positioning and investments going to impact me now and in the future? That's true tax planning.
Yeah.
But you mentioned the RMDs at 73. People are working later and later.
Yeah.
If you're still working at 73, you are required to take those RMDs?
You are.
Okay.
Well, yeah, on your IRAs for sure. Sometimes with your 401ks, there are stipulations where you do not have to take an RMD right away, but only if you're still employed and still working. So the issue is most people don't think about these things until they get there, right? And so that is a fallacy that we see a lot. But you need to understand that right now, you probably know this, that the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act give us the lowest tax bracket in decades. So taxes are on sale right now. We can actually pay lower tax rates if we're planning ahead than if we wait, because at the end of 2025, 2026, we are going to higher tax rates. I mean, we hit $34 trillion of debt as a country this year. That's unbelievable. And so how does our country raise money?
You raise taxes?
The Fed just prints it off, or we raise taxes. That's the only thing that we can do.
Okay, a couple of things. Last time you were here, we talked about the classes that you hold sometimes. Do y'all ever do classes for taxes?
We talk about taxes in just about every
class.
workshop that we do, and it's because it is such a core piece of a comprehensive financial plan. You cannot have a complete financial plan without talking about taxes and accounting for taxes.
Okay, so 2025, 26, so just
That's
in a
right.
year.
That's right.
The rates are going to go up. Do we know by how
We
much?
don't, because unless Congress acts and somehow we get it postponed, which that's the only possibility to help, then they will reset to what they were before the 2017 Tax Cuts and Job Act. So that means our standard deduction will be lower, and that we'll have more of a higher tax rate as far as what we're paying into taxes.
Okay, so let's just kind of brainstorm for a minute. Let's say that you're right now nearing retirement. You're going to
Sure.
retire this year.
Sure.
Okay.
It's really important then that you have your investments readied.
That's right.
Because your income could either look to be higher or potentially
Well,
lower.
people think about diversification in allocation strategies, like how many stocks or bonds do I hold, right? But we look at diversification also as tax buckets. So most people only have tax deferred accounts, not tax free accounts, which are like Roth accounts and things like this. But the majority of folks have a majority of their money in tax deferred accounts. So how do we plan between now, whether you're retired or not, and age 73, which is RMD age, how do we plan to get as many and as much dollars as we can over to those tax-free buckets? It affects us in so many ways. It's unbelievable, but I want to help people look at planning for where they're at now to before they get to their retirement and RMD age, so that they can pre-plan those tax-free buckets.
I don't know if it's just been Google searches I've done lately or what, but I seem to see pretty frequently now in investment types of conversations a real push to say live below your means. Don't live within,
Sure.
live below. So some people like to have more taxes taken out, and that way they're going to get a return.
Sure.
And then invest it.
Yeah, and I mean, there can be some strategy into that, but you think about it, if you're overpaying in taxes and waiting for a return, basically what you're doing is giving the government your money
free loan.
for them to make money on when you could be keeping it and you investing it
Sure.
and then paying them what's owed.
Accountants have said that too to me on the air over the years.
You want to pay what's appropriate. You don't want to overpay.
So the
That's
best you can
deal.
do is break even.
That's what you want. You want to pay what you're due, not anymore.
Okay.
And you want to strategize to where you're minimizing your tax brackets, right? So it's not just like, I want to pay what is due. I want to have planned for the last year, 2 years, 5 years, to where now I am in a lower tax bracket because of the planning I've done.
Right.
Right?
So y'all know this so well because this is what you do each and every day
That's
with
right.
multiple clients. I mean,
That's
you
right.
see it all. But for newbies who come in and they don't really know the vocabulary yet, you educate them?
Absolutely, we
That's
do. We
all we do.
we really walk folks through the process, and we understand there's so much with tax law, and it can feel daunting and
Continues changing.
confusing. But we're gonna walk you through what's important to know. We're gonna walk you through. Here's some strategies that will really help you. Once we can see the entirety of folks' situations, we can then know, okay, they can use this strategy, and this will work for them, and this one probably won't be a good fit for them. And we'll walk them through those and educate them on their options because we
And-
want folks to feel empowered
Yes.
to
Yeah.
be able to make those decisions and not feel like I just have to be told what to do. I want folks to feel empowered to make those
Do you
decisions.
have so much fun? I mean, I'm sure y'all must go home sometimes and talk about some people. But do you have so much fun
try
when
not
you help somebody see a mistake that was awaiting them and then they avoid it?
Oh, light bulb moments are great.
Our light bulb moments
Yeah.
is what we call those. And we have those weekly, and we really enjoy that because that means, hey man, we have maybe even changed the trajectory
Yeah.
of someone's family lifestyle, right? And so that's a really great thing whenever we can
It's
have a
fulfilling.
light bulb moment for someone to save them a ton of money and change the trajectory of where they're headed. in the
Okay,
future.
so you're not going to do the taxes for people, but you
That's
will
right.
certainly have the conversation. So if somebody wants to make an appointment, come in and just find out how to plan.
So we are
moving
not
forward.
CPAs. We have CPAs in our office, or we'll work with your
Okay.
CPA, or if you're still doing TurboTax or whatever it may be out there,
Okay.
your tax planning software, we'll try to help where we can. So we're not going to sit down and do your taxes, but we do know ways in which to help minimize that tax burden for you.
Well, thanks for clearing your calendar a bit this morning to come talk to us.
Oh, we
Yeah.
love it.
Glad
Their
to do it.
website is just a wealth of information for you. It's allonplanning.com. You can find resources there. You can see about these workshops that they hold, and then, of course, how you can make an appointment to come sit down and talk with them. Thank you.
Thanks, Julie.
Thank you.